Welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today, let's talk about that big domino. Hello, everybody. My name is Kale Houser. I appreciate you joining the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Do you know what a big domino is? Have you heard this concept before? I'm not talking about Fats Domino. I'm not talking about Domino's Pizza. I'm not talking about the game of dominoes. I am talking about the concept in your life, in your business. What is that big domino? Because if we think about, and they're so fascinating to watch sometimes, people spend hours and amazing resources on doing these completely pointless exercises other than for purely entertainment, of building these huge domino trains. And what is the kicker about these huge domino trains? What does it all start with? One domino. One domino that causes a chain reaction across the entire, no matter how long it is, as long as they're connected, the entire chain. The one big domino. Now, in a domino chain, it's not a physically big domino, but it's big in the sense of it's the key domino. It's the cornerstone. It's what instigates the entire process. And in this sense, your big domino, if you have not identified it, that is the thing. That is the connection you need to make. That is the process you need to implement. That is the position you need to hire for. That is the change and mindset that you need to go through that will chain reaction affect everything else in your life, in that process chain, in that process line. What is your big domino? Now, part of the ClickFunnels community, they have instituted what's called a Big Domino accountability call. And it's very simple. Every day you get on this call and you talk about how many people joined your list the previous day, as in you're working to build your email list and your contacts and your customer base. You talk about what is the one big personal goal that you're trying to reach today. Like I said, this isn't like, oh, and in March, I want to lose 50 pounds. Like, no, it's like today. What are you doing today to move towards your personal goal? What is the one big domino in your business today that you need to work on knocking over in order for everything else? And what that does by going through this daily, it allows you to analyze and constantly adjust and adapt to the challenges that your business is facing. And focus not on, oh, shoot, our email autoresponder is jacked up. And you could spend all day trying to figure out what is going on with your email autoresponder. Or you can focus back and say, well, the real problem is we don't have enough people coming into our pipeline, which the real problem is we haven't figured out our advertising or our messaging or our offer. Or I want to record this new webinar for people to have access to. Like, what is the big domino in your business that will move your business forward in such a way that all the other dominoes behind it will just start to fall into place? Because yeah, you could fix your email autoresponder, and that is certainly a domino in the chain of your process. But is that the real issue? Is that the real problem? Maybe the real problem is no one's even joining your list. No one is even taking advantage of your offer. You don't have enough information out there for people to make a decision. You don't have a sales department. Like, what does that look like for you in your specific industry? How does that look like in your shop? What is the big domino? Maybe it's getting that vehicle that has the capacity to handle the equipment you need to deliver to your customers, or finding the driver to do so instead of you. Maybe you work in a law firm or a CPA firm, an accounting firm. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. What is the big domino for your department, your accounting department in your firm, to knock over? Right? We just had end of year. Maybe the big domino was reconciling all your books, finding all those receipts. Maybe that big domino is something that is so daunting, because that's often what big dominoes are. They're a little bit intimidating because it is the big domino. So then instead of focusing on that, we focus on all the little dominoes, like all the little tasks. And we hear a lot of this, and it's popular on social media. And certainly Dave Ramsey made this popular as part of like getting out of debt. Like, oh, focus on all your little debts first. And then you'll steadily grow up to focusing on your big debt. Meanwhile, you've got this huge, hairy credit card bill that's floating over you every day. And I would argue, especially in the business sense, and certainly there are probably cases where, Dave Ramsey's credit tackling program is beneficial. But is that the big domino in your life? And certainly in your business life? What does that look like for you? If you have not figured that out, that is what Kale Houser Leadership is for. We have masterminds that are entirely designed to hold you accountable and help you figure out and tackle those big dominoes. Because there's only two things you need to be successful. Do you know what they are? The right information and the proper guidance. And figuring out the big domino is part of the proper guidance. Like, hey, it's great. I understand these are your problems. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe you got these top 5 things that you want to solve, but what is the one thing? As you step back, as you gain perspective on your business, on your team, what is the one thing that will turn your team from just a bunch of individual people working for a paycheck into a cohesive unit that are moving your entire organization towards your goal, towards your vision? And they become supportive of each other rather than in competition. What is that big domino? What does that look like for your organization, if that is something that you are in charge of? I will say for us, for Kale Houser Leadership, some of our big dominoes are figuring out our marketing, figuring out our messaging into the form of what resonates with people. Why do you show up to this podcast? What is it about this podcast or my messaging or me or this company that is appealing to you? And then how do we get more of that out? That is a big domino for us. Certainly figuring out our messaging as we talk to people one-on-one as part of a strategy call. That is a big domino of understanding what interests people in our products or not. How can we change our product and our offerings to better meet your needs and better set you up for success? What information, if any, are we missing to ensure you have the right information in a timely manner? And are there things that we could be doing differently to give you that proper guidance? Those are our big dominoes. Along with we have the same challenges, email disconnect issues, tech issues, software issues, like all the things. Not to mention just the personal, like, man, I'm tired today. Or I've got these other things going on that are demanding my time. So start thinking about, if it's not already part of your daily routine, or definitely weekly and absolutely monthly, like talking to your team, like, what are our big dominoes? Hey, George, I know you're the head of, accounting over there. What is your big domino for your department? It really, because it helps George now focus. It helps George now analyze and rank and prioritize. Like, hey, we've got all these 5 things to do. Yes, they're important, but this one thing, if we could solve that, boom, everything else is a cakewalk or gets solved by virtue of that thing being solved in the chain. So think about your big dominoes. I apologize if you're now craving pizza that I said Domino's, even though personally I think Domino's pizza is gross. We are a Papa John's family, for those of you that are wondering, mainly because of my voice. Yeah, big dominoes. Get after it. Start knocking them down. And once you do, the other dominoes are nothing. Like once you hit that big domino. Even if it takes you longer to knock it down, it takes you a little bit more effort and analysis and figuring out how to knock that down. But once you understand that once you do, it'll be way faster, way cheaper, and way less resources than trying to attack every other domino that's around it. Make sense? All right. If that's all that we can help you, please leave a DM, shoot me a DM, leave a comment. Likes, comments, subscribes, and shares are fantastic. It helps me grow the channel, and I appreciate you. Have a fantastic afternoon, no matter where you're at in the world. Bye.